Today I want to talk about the magnificent Joop van Ooms. It's a very short little supplement. Not quite sure this is a module. But it takes place in Amsterdam, so it gives you some detail about Amsterdam in the 17th century. And there's like a whole table of what's down on the wharf. And the black markets. You might buy stuff at the black markets. But the heart of this is Joop van Ooms, who is the apprentice to Leonardo da Vinci. He's a magic user with some unique things. And he's got a couple of henchmen, Giles de Race and Henry VIII. He's not the English king. He's named after the English king as a joke. It's sort of a joke name. You'll have to read it, but yeah, so he's got the studio. One of his skills is architecture. So it's not square walls, it's interesting walls. There's a ground floor. In the lower cellar, there's a submarine. The first floor has this balcony above it. There's a second floor, which is different levels. Third floor, which is an art gallery. Fourth floor, where his studio is. And the roof, where he has a helicopter. Yeah, so he's got various skills that he can do. He does architecture. Not boring architecture, but interesting architecture. That does magical things to people who enter his buildings. He writes plays. Really interesting plays that have a magical effect on the audience. He's an engineer. He's made some artifacts like the golden gun and the helicopter and the submarine. He paints portraits. This is what the cover is here. His portraits have an influence on reality. When he paints things, they come true. So here he is, smudging a portrait of the Flame Princess, and it's happening to her in real life. So when I ran this, my players all posed for portraits of him, and every night for several weeks after that, he would paint paintings of them, and they'd wake up in costumes from his paintings. He also paints frescoes. When he paints frescoes of people, those people become imprisoned in the plaster. He's trying to persuade a church to let him do a fresco of Jesus Christ, and nobody will let him do that. So, right. Also, he does magic through poetry. And if you annoy him, he'll recite a poem that can send you backward in time where you won't bother him anymore. But he's able to use this to get more hours of the day than exist. Also, he can do magical sculptures. And so there's some adventure hooks. See, it's not a very long module, but it's very interesting. I did a session of this, did one session. The players thought it was really interesting interacting with him, and he became an NPC later. He showed up a few times, including once where he helped save the world. And this is available as part of this anthology of several adventures, which is currently available from Lamentations of the Flame Princess. The original is not, except in PDF form.